So here we are at Sunset Lake. This is one of two lakes on the Vassar College campus. The other one is Vassar Lake, which is formed by the damming of the Casperkill. The Casperkill is a tributary of the Casper Kill that flows through part of the city of Poughkeepsie and meets the Casper Kill right here below the dam of Sunset Lake. But Sunset Lake was formed at 1912. That's when it was constructed. So when Matthew Vassar was looking for places to build his college, there wasn't a lake here at all. It was just the junction of the two streams. And Matthew Vassar saw that as really appealing, and it was one of the things that attracted him to this location to build his college, was this junction. And in some of his early plans, he talked about the possibility of maybe constructing a lake with boathouses for the women. But so in the early years of the college, like I said, the lake wasn't here, and actually the Casperkill served a very different purpose. It was actually the sewage receptacle for the college. One of the early historical sketches has a quote where it describes the sewage system, which I'm just going to read. It describes it as perfect. The sewage from the college is carried through pipes to the ravine, 400 feet east of the building, and there discharged into a large covered brick tank, from which, after the settling of the more solid portions, the comparatively clean liquid is conveyed through sewer pipes underground nearly 2,000 feet before it is discharged into the combined Casperkill and Mill Cove Brook. So there you are. And as you can imagine, Vassar's neighbors were not so pleased about this perfect sewage system. A lot of people started to complain about the stench and about the sewage that was flowing into their backyards. And it got so bad, the complaints, that the college decided that they needed to come up with a different system. And originally they had a plan to build a pipe all the way from here to the Hudson River. But fortunately, an alumna and trustee of the college, Ellen Swallow Richards, who was the first female graduate of MIT, also convinced the college that that was not a good idea. And so they purchased the first 200 acres of the Vassar Farm Ecological Preserve in order to build settling tanks to deal with the sewage problem, which is an interesting thing too. And so then in 1912, the lake was constructed, and quickly Sunset Lake came to replace Vassar Lake as the preferred recreational spot among students. And a lot of the alumni that we interviewed have Sunset Lake as one of their favorite memories and things about Vassar. And people talk about skating. One woman we interviewed talked about skating with the son of the president of the college, and it's something that people really remember. And it's so treasured, in fact, as an aesthetic and recreational resource that in the late 1960s, the college was planning to build a house on the hill here overlooking Sunset Lake for one of the new deans of the college, the dean of student affairs. And it was supposed to take up a third of the lake, and the students and professors protested vehemently. And the college still, though, decided to go forward with the plan. So they'd actually dug part of the foundation, and then that first night, some students, 100 students and 5 faculty members, went to the site and actually filled it back in with the dirt. And that prevented the college from building the house. It's now built somewhere else. And then through the 70s, the state of the lake sort of was in decline until the 1950s around. Vassar had a power generation plant, and in order to cool it, they needed a source of water, so they used water from Sunset Lake. So they periodically would drain it, and that sort of cleared it up somewhat. But after they stopped doing that, the lake has sort of gradually started to silt in. And then, as I mentioned before, when the dam for the landfill broke in the 1970s, when they built those plazas, all the trash came down, and there's been a lot of eutrophication and other negative impacts on the wildlife here in the stream. So in 1977, they had to dredge the lake. created again. But that's where we are today, I guess.